The journey of a creative is all about finding the right tool, the one that just clicks with your vision. For me, that's been the Sony 85mm 1.8 lens. It's come along with me on some of the most beautiful places that I've been privileged to film, like Arizona, Utah, and my home state of Texas. This lens brings sharp, buttery depth to my photos and handles low light like a pro, giving my videos that cinematic feel that we're all looking for. And the best part, it's affordable, perfect for the creatives chasing big dreams on a budget. And that's why this Sony 85mm lens comes with me on almost every single job that I work on, whether it's hospitality, resorts, lifestyle, and even portraits. To me, it's one of the most perfect lenses to have in your bag. Now, at under $500, this lens is probably the best bang for your buck if you're starting off as a photographer or videographer. One of the main reasons for that being the fact that it's an 85 at 1.8, meaning that you can get really good bokeh with this, and also it performs so well in low light. Now, one of the main reasons why this is my first choice every time I pull a lens out of the bag is primarily because when I put the 85 on, whether it's my Sony A7C or the S3, I get such a beautiful image straight out of the camera that I kind of can already develop the style in my head. So one of the things I've noticed personally is if I'm shooting something with either my 16 to 35 or my 50 mil to start a shoot, I'm never really sure of how I want it to go. But every time I throw the 85mm on the camera, I'm pretty much sure where the image is leading me and how I can capture the space. Now, one of the main reasons why I think that is because seeing the tight shot first allows you to manipulate shadows, colors, and it kind of gives you the idea of where you want to go with for the shoot. When you do something that's more wide, your focus is everywhere, right? You're looking at the windows, you're looking at the chairs, you're looking at the plants, you're kind of looking at everything, so you're getting a little overwhelmed. But when you're using something like the 85 mil at a fixed focal length, you have to manipulate the scene to fit what you want it to look like, which for me ends up allowing me to see the entire scene better. So when I'm able to focus on a very small piece, like maybe drinks at a table or even like a corner booth, that allows me to even play on a bigger scale of how I want to manipulate shadows or what certain textures I want to capture. Now, one of the other reasons why I love this lens so much is that it's a 1.8, which means it's going to perform really well in low light, but also you're going to get some beautiful buttery bokeh. And a lot of you photographers and videographers out there know that just creates more of a cinematic feel. But not only that, you could even bump it up to maybe a 2.5, a 3.2, and it also gives you some good buttery background, but keeps that separation while all around giving you a clear image. So for me, having something that can go down to 1.8, but at the same time you can kind of bump up and use a little bit more is also good when you want to get that sharp image. Now, another thing that I really enjoy doing with this lens are family portraits or just portraits in general. Again, that 85 just does such a good job of giving you sharp detail, making it look so clean. But when you have that bokeh blurred out in the background, it looks so great. So literally, when I say this is my favorite lens to use all around, I use this thing all the time. Even if we're just going out and, having like a family day and I have my lenses with me, this is one that I always want to bring with me just for that reason, like capturing photos of my son and my wife, capturing photos of the city or the food that we're eating. Even if I never edit them, to me, I just love getting that creativity out. So having the 85 there has been something that, like I said, every time I'm at a job site or I'm working a job, especially if it's like food and beverage or something like that, this is literally the first lens that I throw on my camera body, because what I've noticed is once I have this on there and I get the images I want to get with this, then I could better develop the shoot around what I want to do. Now, this primarily happens when I'm in a new location or I haven't had the time to go and visit the spot beforehand. Like I said, having the 85 with me already builds the creativity in my head to where then when I put the 24, the 16 to 35, or even the 50, I'm allowed to see that in a more grander scale. Now, if you're someone who's into food and beverage or even automotive, this is another great tool to have because the minimal focus length is so close to where you can get so much details of whether the leather of the car or like the food sizzling and getting, the bubbles of the drink. So again, for food and beverage, hospitality, automotive, anything where you want to capture some really nice, beautiful detail, the minimum focal length on this does a great job of allowing you to get close enough to get some good detail, but still further enough to still get a lot of the image in the shot. Now, one of the other things I've been purchasing for every single one of my lenses has been ND variable filters, which allows you to dim your image without having to mess with your settings. So if you want me to do a separate video on variable ND filters, please comment that below because it's something that I've really been utilizing, especially for videography. Now, like I said before, one of the other things that makes this a no-brainer for photographers and videographers is its price point. Now, I've had the ability to purchase the 85 G Master Mark 1 or Mark 2, but honestly, for the price point and what I can get out of this, it really hasn't made me want to buy another 85 millimeter lens. I've also looked at the Sigma and the Tamron and other ones that have been out. And honestly, the way that the autofocus works with this is still good. The way that the images come out with this is still good. And I've tried other lenses that are 85s as well. And to me, it almost looks identical. So for the price point, and honestly, I got this used on Facebook Market for I think 300 bucks or maybe even less. So you can find this used for way cheaper than you could probably find it on Amazon. So if you're somebody who has a couple $100, maybe $300, and you really want to get a lens that's going to elevate your photography, elevate your videography, and I would even say your creativity, because having a prime lens allows you to look at things differently. And because it's not a zoom or, it's not something that you can manipulate, it's fixed, you're going to have to move back, forward, and it's going to allow you to get way more creative with your angles. So again, this is why something that is a prime lens, especially like a 50 or an 85, would be really good for you, especially like I said, at this price point. So who is this lens for? Well, I think it's for the skilled hobbyist, right? The guy who probably has a couple of zoom lenses or maybe has a prime and is looking to get something else, something different. Again, I think the 85 allows you to get way, way more creative. Maybe even your professional, somebody who has maybe a wide angle lens and maybe something a little bit tighter like a 35 or a 50, and you're looking to kind of elevate your work in a different way. This 85, again, for the price point would be great. It's not going to hurt your wallet, but it's definitely going to be able to get you some more work. Or I would say the other person who this is for is your portrait photographer, the person who loves taking photos of people or even like really tight images of like watches, cars, and stuff like that. It's going to allow you to get a lot of that detail. Like I said, the bokeh is going to be amazing. But if you're doing video, if you're in a car, a lot of the car's interiors are a little bit darker. And when you have low light as well, it's not going to come out. So you can push that into a 1.8, get a lot of the stitching and a lot of the emblems and make your images and your videos look phenomenal. A couple other great features that for someone like me who's a run and gun videographer and photographer, I really enjoy is the form factor. It's really small, so it's not going to throw you off if you have it in your bag or you're putting it on a gimbal. And the other one is having this customizable button on the side. So if you're somebody who likes to customize a bunch of buttons on your camera like I do, so it just kind of limits the time that you spend looking for other things, that's another great thing, that you could just customize a button and it could either pull focus or change some things up for you. So if you're someone who's looking for a lens that isn't going to hurt your wallet, but it's going to elevate your work and probably open you up to a whole different clientele, the Sony 85mm 1.8 is a great, great choice. Now, this is just one of 4 lenses that I think every videographer needs in their bag, but that's for another day. But if you want to watch some more videos on tricks and tips that have to do with photography, then click here. Or if you want to see some more of the gear that I like to purchase and that I use, then click right over here. But until next time, catch you on the flip side. Peace out.